What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. And today we are talking about Belal Muhammad, who's about to fight Leon Edwards in UFC 304. So this video is all about really getting to the heart of why he seems to be so universally disliked by fans and folks in the UK and elsewhere. Now, of course, he does have his fans. We've even had some people comment on our channel defending Belal, so he does have his support. But why does he continuously rub people the wrong way? And I think this stems from the fact that he often says things that just have no merit. They're just factually incorrect. And I think some fighters get away with sort of lying or exaggerating the truth a bit or whatnot. But I think when Belal does it, for whatever reason, it just comes off as, feels almost like a little bit grimy. And it's just so disconnected from any foundation in the truth that it just sounds dumb at a lot of times. And I think that's where the disconnect is coming. But before we get into all the videos and the clips of him talking and why I think it's kind of bizarre and pointing out some of the inconsistencies in what he says, I don't think he should stop, because what he's doing right now is he's drumming up a lot of emotions from the fans, people who do support Leon and who want to see Belal lose. And I think that's going to be actually a positive for him going forward if he sort of embraces this role as a heel. So without further ado, we're going to jump through a bunch of clips of Belal talking in interviews, things that he's saying. We're going to just sort of dissect them step by step. So this is the first clip from Media Day. Let's check it out.
You've been saying, like, I'm going to walk through him. I could 50-42 this guy and all that. So I'm just curious, why don't you envision like a stoppage win? Because when we hear you talk, it's always, I'm going to kind of drag him through the fire for 5 rounds.
Because I want to torture him. I want him to realize how much better I am than him. When you go out there, you get a finish, people go, oh, you got lucky, you did this, oh, it happened because of that. But if I go out there and dominate him and beat him in all aspects of MMA, wrestling, grappling, striking, jiu-jitsu, get him to the point of making him want to quit. That's what I want. I want to torture him. I want him to the point of looking at his coaches, and his coaches had nothing to say and they walk away because they're embarrassed. That's what I want it to feel like on Saturday night. So
we're going to stop the video right there, and I'm also showing quickly Belal's record right now on the shared screen. And this is the first thing that he says that is just ridiculous. The reason why the interviewer is obviously asking this is because Belal hasn't finished anybody since Sean Brady. That's the one fighter that he did finish by TKO. But you look at the rest of these decision. This is, of course, this Leon Edwards fight is when it ended in a no contest because of an eye poke. So it's just like, come on, you know why you're saying that. You're saying you want to drag him out and make it over this lengthy period of time, not because it's going to really send a message or it's going to be this or that. It's just that's just how you fight, and that's okay. But it's just so obviously disingenuous the way he's framing it that I think it rubs people the wrong way. All right, and here's clip number 2.
And obviously, we heard your coach compare you. Talking about your boxing, he said, hands like Canelo and this and that. So is this something you've been focused on specifically for this camp, or have you always kind of been training your hands and this is just where you are now?
Yeah, I think every fight we're trying to bring something new, right? Every fight you see me evolving. So for this last year, all we've been doing is getting better and better and better in all aspects of MMA. I have the best striking coach in the world.
Okay, this part's not as bad or not as annoying, but I think the really funny part is this idea that he's got hands like Canelo. Like, it's just a ridiculous statement, especially when we were comparing against Leon Edwards, who's an absolute beast when it comes to striking, one of the best strikers in the UFC, if not the best, could be the best. And so really, I think the interviewer is bringing this quote up because it's absurd. It's brought up later on in the press conference. This one may not be as much Belal's fault as it is his coach for saying such a ridiculous, crazy statement like that. And I've seen some footage of Belal hitting the pads, and I don't know, it's just kind of funny. And here's, of course, Leon reacting to the Canelo comparisons of boxing for Belal.
Brother, his coach came out yesterday.
I forgot to ask him about that, man.
So it's like fucking Canelo boxing. His coach said that.
Who?
Belal.
Belal's coach?
Yeah.
You're lying.
Brother, he came out. He said he's like Marquez. And he's like, Canelo in boxing now. He's trained him so good. I was like, bro, this is what I'm dealing with.
And that's the situation. That is basically what we're dealing with. I mean, their reactions say it all. It's just so ridiculous. It's not even funny. And this is leading to the reason why people just don't seem to like him. And here's the next clip.
When you look at my resume, when you look back at it, Damian Maia fought for the title twice. Wonderboy fought for the title twice. Luque waited as a backup and he should have fought for the title. Gilbert fought for the title. All these guys that were at the top during this era, and it's not like I beat them all on 5-fight losing streaks. They were all winning at the times when I was beating them. and I made it look easy, and I walked through them.
So again, Belal's talking up his record here and specifically mentioning the Gilbert Burns fight. By the way, he didn't mention in the Gilbert Burns fight. By the way, Gilbert Burns had one arm effectively for, I think, like the last round or round and a half of that fight. He did win a victory, and he did come in short notice, so props to him. But this idea that his record, he had to go through all these super difficult fights. I mean, granted, Damian Maia and a lot of these other fighters are legendary fighters, but he's getting them at a later stage in their career. So it's just the truth is the truth, and it is what it is.
And you obviously arrived in enemy territory a couple of days ago. What's the reception been like in Manchester so far?
Honestly, it feels like home. I literally had more fans show up to the airport when I arrived than Leon had when he arrived with the belt.
Okay, so and I have heard this before, people going into potentially hostile territory. Dustin Poirier talked about this going to Abu Dhabi to fight Islam, and he had a great reception. People treated him really well. So I don't doubt that he was treated well, but like he's saying he has more fans in Manchester who greeted him at the airport than greeted Leon with the belt. Like, it's just probably not the case. Come on, it's ridiculous. Belal is really not that well-known of a fighter, probably not even that well-known in the UK. So to say that you have more fans, it's just gotta be capped. So it's these statements that are just so ludicrous and so silly when you're fighting in somebody else's hometown to make a claim like that, which is clearly nonsense. I think, again, it's just annoying.
I mean, he hasn't earned a rematch. Who'd you beat? You beat Kobe, who sucks, and then you beat Usman in the rematch. So there's really nothing that I think entails him for a rematch. And what I'm going to do to him, they're going to be like, bro, there's no point in doing a rematch. I'm going to walk through him. And they're going to be like, back to the bottom of the ladder. Leon, this guy was the champion? No way. This guy sucks.
I just don't understand what he's talking about. To say that he sucks, he's so good. He's on this massive streak. So it's just this crazy disconnect from reality, the way he's saying it. And you know when Kobe or somebody like that says things like this, oh, Leon sucks, blah, blah. It's a different thing, right? Because you almost know that he's intentionally stretching the truth. He's trying to be inflammatory. I don't know. It works for some reason. Here, I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to zero in a little bit on the formula, but it just doesn't work, and it just sounds ridiculous.
One of the things I feel like has rubbed you the wrong way is the way you spoke about UFC 300 and saying UFC didn't want you in that slot. From your perspective, was that ever talked about as a possibility of you and Leon headlining that show?
I mean, he's talking like he's a superstar. The guy literally goes in hiding after every one of his fights. People don't know who he is. I was walking down Manchester, like, who are you fighting? I said, Leon Edwards. Like, who's that? I was like, it's your guy's champion. No, we don't know that guy. Like, people don't know who he is. He doesn't promote himself. He doesn't talk. So for the UFC, they were probably like, nah, we'll wait till after Ramadan. So Belal has a full camp, a best camp, and we'll keep it that way.
Like, this is just all blatantly not true. They've talked about it, that Leon was offered 3 different fights and none of them were Belal for UFC 300. It's just not true. He's offered Islam Shavkat and I think somebody else, I can't remember. And then saying he's going around and telling people who he's fighting and they don't know who he is. It's just the whole thing. It's just nonsense. And maybe he knows that it's nonsense, and maybe he knows that obviously nobody's going to believe what he's saying, and he's saying it kind of in that same Kobe-esque kind of way. I don't know, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work for Belal.
And then the Usman third fight was kind of, Usman wasn't the same fighter. So I think Leon got a lot of credit for that fight, but I think Usman just rushed back after that head kick, and he didn't have the same confidence and swagger that he usually does.
So this is Belal trying to discredit Leon's amazing victory over Kamaru Usman when in their third fight. I mean, maybe some people will definitely say that, yeah, perhaps he was a little bit gun-shy because he had suffered a head kick KO, which that was a devastating loss. So I'm certain there was some hesitancy there, but to totally discount the victory, I don't think anybody's done that except for Belal. It just, again, seems disingenuous. It doesn't really connect. It just doesn't make sense.
I do it all. I have strength, pressure, power, grappling, and I put it all together better than anybody in the UFC.
So I know there always has to be an element of self-promotion in this game when you're talking to an oppressor. I mean, I get that you're upping yourself, you're big up upping yourself, but to say that nobody puts it together better than Belal in the UFC, we have so many amazing, well-rounded fighters. Islam is one of them. I don't know. It again just seems a bit ludicrous to make such a bold statement, especially when I think the only person that feels this way is Belal. So the shenanigans continue with Daniel Cormier. Let's check out a couple excerpts from this interview.
No, I've been literally studying him for the last year. I'm watching him, I'm looking at him, and the dude sucks.
Come on, Belal.
I'm telling you.
That's some bullshit, man. You can't say
Bro,
that.
when you look at who I fought, Wonder Boy has better striking than him. Walk through him. Gilbert has better jiu-jitsu than him. Walk through him. Sean Brady has better wrestling than them. Walk through them. I fought every style that you could fight. He hasn't fought anybody like me. I fought the best of the best. Damian Maia, better jiu-jitsu than him. Walk through him. Like, what does he have better than all these guys? You put all those guys together, every single one of those camps I've had, I've grown in every single one of those camps, got better in every single one of those camps. When you guys see me Saturday night, what I do to Leon Edwards, you're going to be like, I told you the Gilbert Burns fight was going to be easy, and they're going to say,
You did.
they're going to have excuses.
You did say that.
Okay, so first of all, the thing he's talking about the Gilbert Burns fight, once again, he's glossing over the fact that Gilbert Burns was basically fighting with one arm, firstly. Secondly, when he's saying that Leon Edwards sucks, you can see Daniel Cormier's reaction that he's just like, dude, come on. This is just silliness what you're saying. It's just not real. Obviously, everybody knows how skillful Leon is. And in fact, Leon probably got a title shot way later than he should have. He had an incredible winning streak. And the only reason why he didn't is because he wasn't that much of a fan favorite. He is a little bit quiet. He's an introvert. So those things were going against him. But clearly, if you're going to just go out here and blatantly lie and say that Leon sucks, I mean, you can do that, but it just sounds ridiculous.
His crew walked into the elevator, Leon's crew. They're 6 deep. It's me and my boy, Max Perez. And then all of a sudden we hear like his brother's trying to give me like a dirty look at me in the eye. And then Leon's just sitting there not saying a word, and then all of a sudden we hear a little gremlin, little leprechaun talking trash, his coach. And I was like, who the heck's this little nerd? And I look, and I can't even see him because he's so short. And then he's trying to talk trash at the front of the elevator, but he's like squeezed into the corner.
So you guys were all in the same elevator?
Yeah, it was 2 of us, 6 of them. But I mean, I take us 2 over anybody any day of the week.
So Rocky was in there too?
Yeah. He wasn't saying a word though, but his coach was talking. That's why I'm hoping his coach shows up to the press conference. I'd rather talk with his coach at the press conference.
So that's Belal's description of the event in the elevator. Now here's the actual footage. First of all, I don't think there were 6 deep, but maybe it's hard to tell. But I just don't think that's true. And he's again saying Leon didn't say anything. That's also not true. I think he said in another interview that he felt like Leon was scared in there, which is just ludicrous. But some of what he says is actually legitimate. So I'll play it for you guys so you can check it out.
Yeah. No.
Joya.
Come on, remember the name. Come on, boys. So let's slide in, boys. Someone hit one. Press the button. Come on, fellas.
Yes.
I smell.
The vagina just walked in.
I smell.
That boy told. That's because your breath is open. That boy told. Your mouth is open.
Yeah, no.
Your mouth.
Look, there it is. Look, that boy told. You smell it? You smell?
You have the group right there, bro. You have a pack of.
What's the drama?
There you can see what happened at the end of that video, the infamous elevator situation. Obviously, what he said is not true. Leon did say several things to Belal, and they exchanged some words going back and forth and exited the elevator, and nothing happened. Thankfully, nothing happened to jeopardize the fight. Leon clearly was not scared whatsoever. I think I've never seen Leon less intimidated by somebody. Is that a guarantee that Leon wins? I don't know, but I think it's pretty locked in that the skill differential, especially rewatching the last fight again, and even rewatching Belal versus Gilbert, I just think the speed and the reach and just the overall skill differential is going to be too much. Also, lastly, one thing that Belal did mention of fighting Wonder Boy and these other fighters with different skill sets, the thing about Leon that is different and unique is that he actually has really good grappling skills, really good takedown defense. So it's sort of a combination that doesn't exist with those other fighters. I think Belal knows that. He's just trying to hype himself up for this fight and get himself in the right mindset. The last thing I want to say is that while this is really aggravating and annoying, and while Belal got booed like crazy during the press conference, I don't think Belal should change anything, because I think at this point, given the fact that he seems to be getting tons and tons of decisions, meaning his fight style doesn't seem to be that entertaining for the fans, number one. People don't seem to really like his personality, number two. You've only got one option, and that's to go the heel route, and I do feel like he's embracing it. He was talking smack to the audience. He was making the fight exciting. So whatever people want to say about Belal Muhammad, it's a pretty cool build-up. Arguably a more interesting one even than against Colby Covington. So of course the Colby and Leon buildup was great, although I know a lot of fans were disappointed with the fight. I thought it was actually a reasonably interesting fight just from a tactical and strategic perspective, but I think this fight's going to deliver, and I think Leon is going to put Belal away once and for all, and a little bit of bad blood and heat here. It's just making it fun. So anyways, as aggravating as it is sometimes to listen to the things that Belal says because they just don't make any sense, I think it's making for an entertaining build-up. So props to Belal. Let's keep it going, and we cannot wait for UFC 304 this Saturday. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. If you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA show, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.